What's up, everyone, and welcome to Patch Note Breakdown. Yes, today is the day. It's finally here. We have an update to AOE3. It's been the first one since January, I think 31st, 2024. And if that is exactly the day, that would be 267 days since the last patch. So it's been a long time coming. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this, and I'm definitely included in that. So can't wait to get through the notes here. This is the home page for the build 15.59076, whatever that stands for. But I've seen a few things throughout the day, but this is my first time going through the patch notes thoroughly, so having first reaction right here with you guys. And let's go ahead and start looking through it. So just a welcome message here. Plenty of notable fixes and features in today's update. You can look forward to lots of balance updates plus some localization fixes based on community feedback. This is a data patch that will update your game automatically after starting, so you don't have to download through Steam, like the Steam menu. We recommend you stay in the main menu for about 2 minutes for the download to complete. Please keep in mind that due to technical reasons, only limited changes are possible in a data patch. No graphics, no maps, etc. Okay, so it seems like it's going to be... I've kind of have this expectation that there's going to be quite a bit of changes, and I'm hopeful of that. Not too many. Like, sometimes you can go crazy and change too many things at once, but interested to see that whatever data patch is, I guess, more minor things, not like extreme changes, and of course no maps, like I said. So let's scroll down a bit here, and so it starts off with campaigns, which I personally am not super interested in. I don't really play campaigns, haven't played them much at all, but I'm sure there are some players, actually quite a bit, that play lots of campaigns or single player AOE3, so maybe this is important to you guys. So it says Algiers, fix the appearance of villagers, replace the grenadiers of the Barbary pirates with Humbarakas. Battle of blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna attempt that. I think I'm just gonna kind of skip through these campaign things, but it basically looks like just a couple minor changes for appearance of villagers and grenadiers, which is basically the same as Humbarakas, if I'm even pronouncing that correct. But on to localization. Improved all localizations to better distinguish between the Royal Huntsman and Royal Hunter units belonging to the House of Oldenburg. Okay, yeah, that was always a little bit confusing for me, so that hopefully, well, I guess that's probably just localization. That I think that's just languages for certain areas. I still need to read a little bit more about those units to figure out the difference myself, but onto Abus Gunner, fix the French mistranslation, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so these are just basically like translation and like wording stuff, so I guess nice little fixes that can be annoying if it's in your language and it doesn't make sense. So Spanish localization fixes. Okay. Alright, well, we don't have to go into details on all that stuff. Not a huge list, but just correcting names, so nothing huge to the game. Now, onto civilization balance. General. This is for all civs, all aspects of the game, units and buildings. African bandit catamaran damage. Journey, what are you doing? Dog's chewing his toy up against the desk. Back to the Journey. Come on, buddy. You're interrupting me. Okay, go play. Good boy. Okay, damage multiplier against guardians now only applies to water guardians. Oh, that might be actually impactful on, I think the map was Horn, where you can use the catamaran to snipe treasures and get some really nice treasures early on with your explorer if you like transport him onto those little islands. So actually interesting to see how that will impact that map. Chevys. Oh, these are the German cavalry, light cavalry, that have really high melee attack, I believe. Unless maybe this is a different unit. House of Wittelsbach. We'll have to see. Melee damage multiplier against skirms improved to 0.75, up from 0.6. I wonder if that is the same as the German unit that they can get instead of war wagons. Okay, fishing boats reduce the sound volume of fishing. All right, I guess sometimes that potentially could be annoying. Hand shock infantry slightly increase the obstruction radius from 0.49 to 0.59 for these are like the scouts for Inca, Chimu runners, Coyote runners, Disciples, Rat and Shields, Soultail warriors, and Tiger Claws. So that is an interesting, very interesting change because it's not like a typical balance change that you would see. It's not like HP or attack speed or attack damage. It's just like the pathing. It's a pathing. It's basically reduces their pathing, like makes their pathing worse, which actually was, I mean, kind of annoying. They could get into all these gaps and really surround your army, especially even if you built your base well. Coyotes were especially able to get into your army without much problem and can kind of stack on top of each other quite a bit. So I think that potentially, I mean, when you talk about that 0.49 to 0.59, I don't know exactly how these numbers, like how it works out, but that's what a 0.1 change. That's like a 20% change, 20% larger obstruction radius, if I'm doing that math correctly. I think I am. So that could be actually quite impactful. We'll have to see how that's going to play out. That's not usually how you see units balanced, so that could be very interesting. And I think Aztec is a bit annoying, especially with the amount of units they get early in the game sometimes with their rushes, so that could actually be pretty impactful to their rush. And hot air balloon fixed a bug that made descending hot air balloons count as unit slots. Interesting. Not super impactful. Inquisitor. Cost increased to 110 coin from 100, and train time increased from 45 seconds to 35. Oh, from 35 seconds to 45. So I can hear my dog chewing on its toy. So a significant increase in train time and a 10% increase in cost. So that's, I mean, I know this was more of a team game thing, and we'll have to see what the team game players say, because I'm not super big into team games. But I think that train time is pretty significant. Although there are cards I know that make them train fast, like very fast, and the cost reduced as well. So I think it was mainly with like a German and French team. When you have both those civs, there's a couple cards that combine to make that a really, really effective rush really early in the game. So we'll have to see what the team players, what do you guys think about that? If there's any team players watching this, is that enough of a change that can, because there was like some really annoying 3v3 strategies, I believe, that involve those guys. So Javelin Rider, XP reward corrected to 11 down from 12. Lipka Tatar, range damage reduced to 10 from 12.5. I believe that's those cavalry archers. Mounted riflemen no longer considered a counter skirmisher. Okay, so they should not do bonus damage against skirms anymore, it looks like. Napoleon gun cost increased from 450 coin to 475, so that's a little bit. I don't know, I didn't really see too many of those. So, and it's not a huge change, so that's interesting to see that. Royal Dragoon, House of Bourbon, range increased from 17 from 16. So I've been messing around with these units a little bit, and this is with French. I don't understand the reasoning for this, and I think it could potentially be an issue because those units are already, when you can stack all those native cards, they're already really good, and they have crazy melee attack, and the trample mode that they have, I think it's called Stampede. It's insane. Like you can beat Helbs with those guys in Stampede mode. I've done it. So increasing the range, so you can, with the Arsenal upgrade, ranged cavalry caracol, you can get up to 19 range on these dragoons. That is, I mean, there's a limit to them. You can only make like 20, I think, in H3. It's not a huge buff, but, and they do have a long like animation to fire, so that does nerf them a little bit, but maybe that's why they increased it. I just think that's a little bit dangerous buff on these guys that I think are already pretty strong. We'll see how that is going to end up being played out. We might be seeing a lot of those in the next, I don't know, well, whatever the next patch is going to be, a couple months away, who knows. So it might be a while. Woku Pirate, fix the non-functional melee attack and the melee stance. Okay. Cards and text. 11 Renegade Spanish H2 for Aztecs and Incas 500 coin increased to 600 coin. Orison Customs, House of Oldenburg, now also affects American citadels obtained from the Maya native settlement. Now affects American citadels. I don't know what that is. Should we take a look? Let's see. What was it called again? Orison Customs, right? Oh, there we go. They always got it. AOE3 wiki. What does this do? Add. It can be researched once research. Oh, warships and defensive buildings trickle coin. Huh. Okay, interesting. It looked like that. Okay, so that's just making sure all buildings are affected by that. Okay, that's kind of not super relevant. Okay, what do we have here? No longer Sarmatism. No longer grants Tatars extra range on top of the default range increase. Okay. Sudanese Red Sea trade technology research time increased to 30 seconds up from 10. Is that... Wait, what was that one called again? Red Sea trade. Wonder if we're gonna be able to search that. I want to say that gives Red Sea wagons. Yeah. That looks like that's what this is. Yeah, ships 2 Red Sea wagons. Okay. Where were we? Okay, so yeah, okay, because I've been seeing people get that early in the game, and so 10 seconds is pretty quick research time. So they nerfed that a little bit. I think that makes sense. Team 3 Vills, only one of these cards can be sent per team now. That's probably helpful for team games. Could be, I mean, if you have all 3 civs, you can send basically a 9 villager shipment 3 times. Wow, that's crazy. War ceremony reduces the effectiveness of the war ceremony by 2.5% on average. Okay, I like that. I feel like Aztec use that quite a bit and very strong once I get the 10 warrior priests, and also Lakota would be able to use that in big fights. So I think that's good because it made both of those civs a little bit crazy when that full ceremony was going to 25 vills or 25 units. Aztecs, 11 Mayan allies, cost increase 100 coin from 500 to 600. Same with the 9 Zapotec allies. Okay, so I think these were some things that people had issues with. You'd see, even at higher ELOs, you'd see players sending the Mayans very early on, getting a whole bunch of units in your base, and adding 100 coins to that helps out a little bit. So not a huge nerf, but it's gonna slow down the rush a little bit. So I think that's good for everybody, especially at the lower ELOs when they're having trouble dealing with a lot of units early on. So I think that's good. You can still send it twice, so I don't know how often people do send it twice, but if you do, you're going to pay an extra 100 coin per shipment. And this Great Temple support moved to age 4. This was a buff for Jaguar Prowl Knights, and I think Jaguars were getting ridiculous in age 3. I think this is a good change. I think that's for is that for combat? Or is it HP only? I'm not exactly sure, but giving 12 Prowler Knights. I think they increased the number of Jaguars you get with it because it's an age 4 card now. So I think that's good because they were they're really difficult to deal with in age 3. And Slingers increased train time and cost. Oh, so they used to be 23 seconds down to 25 seconds, and an extra 5 wood. Wow, that's pretty significant. You know what? I think mostly Aztecs train coyotes, but to get you do need to train slingers at some point, and that is a pretty significant cost. 5 wood per slinger, so I think that's good. Aztecs were maybe getting a little too simple and out of hand with the amount of units they can get early, or have a nice timing around 12 minutes or so. So I think that's the correct direction to go with them. All right, on to British Queen's Rangers, age 4. The Glorious Revolution corrected the technology effects by removing the unmentioned swap of longbow cards with ranger cards. Corrected the technology effects by removing the unmentioned swap of longbow cards with ranger cards. Oh, okay. So I think that means that they'll no longer change those cards over with that technology, which is from the unique church card. So you still have to. Oh, wait. Here. Maybe the next few will explain that. Because how do you get the Rangers cards then? Let's see. Rangers in age 4 now also researches the Guard Ranger upgrade. Okay, Ranger can now also be trained in the American Citadel obtained via the mine settlement in case Rangers are enabled for training. Okay, I'm gonna have to search this one up too. Because I'm trying to remember exactly how you can get Rangers enabled. I was just messing with this the other day. Oh. Here we go. Whoa, 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 not that ad. Okay, here we go. Replaces longbow after sending the Rangers card or researching Queen's Rangers, which no longer is the case. After sending Rangers from the home city, all longbowmen upgrades will be replaced. Oh, I guess just sending a Rangers card, huh? We'll have to clarify. If you guys have can clarify on that, let me know. Because they've reduced a way where you can get those Ranger cards available. Because there's 2 cards that would Yeoman and the long range longbow siege used to change into Rangers cards once you had sent this technology. So yeah, we'll have to look into that down the road. So okay, on to Chinese. Disciple train time doubled to 14 seconds, up from 7. All right, I think that's good because it'd be pretty annoying when you have the Chinese hero in the middle of a fight and he just drops 5 disciples every time they die, and just kind of add into the crazy death ball that China can get. So I think that's probably a good change there. Now, hand mortar damage multiplier against siege troopers, including galleons and monitors, reduced to 2 times, down from 6. That's that's kind of strange. I mean, that's when I think of siege troopers, I'm thinking like Abus. I think even Step Riders have the siege troopers tag. That's a maybe you guys can enlighten me. That's like a treaty change. I don't really understand the idea with that, or maybe they just did too good against artillery and treaty or something like that. I don't think that's for standard supremacy, really. Beiyang Army. This was where you get the upgrades for steps and keshiks, and you get like 8 of each of them. Cost was 800 food. It's now 1,000. All right, on to Dutch. One of my favorite civs, Belanda Hittim, now upgrades Akan to champion status, up from elite, but the build limit of 30 no longer scales with additional Akan settlements. Okay, that's again probably a card or an upgrade I'm not often going to send. Probably a treaty change there. Team Cohorn mortars now improves the hand mortar attack of all grenadier type units as opposed to just grenadiers. Okay, again something I'm not really going to make any use of, I don't think. And an H2 card, I believe this is for now arrives in 40 seconds, down from 60. And Ward Golder's cheaper Swiss pikemen can again be trained in H2, but now have a 20% off their original strength, up from 10%, which is restored upon each reach H3. So you can send a small shipment of Swiss pike, and it arrives in 40 seconds, so 20 seconds quicker. Allows you to train Swiss pike in H2, but they are weaker for H2 only. So that's a card I just don't know. I mean, because you can get halbs, you can get early halbs if you want, and they're pretty strong. There's some strategies where that's really a solid age up politician. And then 8 pike is such a valuable shipment because you don't have to train them, and usually it's like for timing, to hold a timing, like a cavalry musketeer timing or something like that with some skirm and your pike. So this is, I think this is just like 3 Swiss pike, and then you can train them. But I don't know. I don't think I would. There might be some matchups where you can utilize that and get a few Swiss pike out, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Ethiopians. So I'm not super familiar with the Ethiopians or the 2 African civs. I don't play them that much. But Abun, healing range and rate reduced to 14 and 6 per second from 18 range and 10 per second. Can no longer be trained in batches, but individual train time improved to 24 seconds from 30. Okay, I heard there were some issues with these guys, and I think these are the ones that were able to heal that that mortar that they would use, that would ship in age 3, and they would pretty much never die. I haven't played against Ethiopians too much, so these not super impactful for me, but I think some people will appreciate that. Beekeepers, fix a bug of this card not improving food gather rates of a hacienda obtained through a Mexican team card. Okay. Fix the bug for this card not having coin gather rates of hacienda. Okay. Minor changes. Mission fervor. Portuguese alliance. This church technology now restores the original upgrade healing rate of Abons to 15 per second. Is that a typo, or am I misreading this or something? Because it said it was 10. Now it's saying it's 15. I don't know. Either way. They added a way to get that healing rate back. Or improved. Mountain Monastery line of sight reduced. I've been hearing that, I haven't seen too much of this, but I've been hearing that the line of sight was pretty insane. 38 down to 32. Prize Bull, age 2. Reduced the cattle amount of fattened food to 600 from 750. I think that's probably good. That is a pretty ridiculous amount to be able to get. So yeah, again, Ethiopians not super impactful for me personally. Let me know what you guys think. French Revolution no longer grants a mortar. Okay, that was kind of random, I felt. Client states fix an issue regarding capturable trade post not being considered by this card. Now sends 300 coin per trading post. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know this card. Yeah, it would send you, if depending on how many trade posts you had, you'd get a crap load of coins. So I think in a game for Lionheart, he had like 6 trade posts on a like 4, like a long TP line map, and a couple. It includes native posts, and he got like 3,000 coin, along with the other units too. I think it gives you revolutionary. So they reduced that, which is good because that was just ridiculous. And I'm always against nerfing revolutions personally. A guillotine fix a bug that resulted in the card granting wood instead of food. Horse Hunter's Napoleonic Era now increases the damage multipliers by 1.5 against heavy cav and 1.2 against shock infantry, down from 2 and 1.5. Okay, these again revolution cards that I never send, so not something I care too much about. Fix a glitch that resulted in refunding resources on card arrival. So that, I didn't know if that was intended or not. It gives you all like I think it's like 1785 to like 1817. I think those are like coin, 1817 coin and 1785 food. It would give you those resources back as soon as you arrived in Napoleonic era. So that was, and it was still not even like that great. So I don't know. I mean, these, whatever. I don't care too much about these, honestly. And then these villagers, once you revolt, now train 30% faster, down from 40%. So that it's kind of disappointing. I mean, I don't think French need really much changes, but none of these affect how how I play the game. So I guess it makes revolts a little bit weaker, which is I'm all for. So okay, cool. Germans, one of my favorite civs. This is going to be a big one. Ulan melee damage reduced to 35 from 37. Wow. Okay, so over the years we've seen a few Ulan changes. At one point they had a slight negative multiplier against villagers. I think they had HP reduced. They messed around with them in a few different ways. This is, I think, one of the first times I've seen a direct damage reduction. And 2, it does sound pretty. It's significant, you know, but kind of when you think about the percentages, not really. But in large numbers, which you often do see a lot of Ulan, and snowballing effect that's so important in this game, this could be a huge impact. We'll have to see how this plays out because when you're talking about having maybe like 30 Ulan and their base damage is reduced by 2 each, that like compounds with your veteran upgrade, your cards. So like what their max attack is going to be significantly less. So we'll have to see how this. But they did boost this H4 card, basically 20% instead of 15%. So they get that attack back and another 5 HP. So, but that card's not sent that often. So this is a big change. Well, that's probably the biggest change I think so far. Other than the slinger cost, that's probably the biggest change. And I think some people are gonna like that. I'm fine with it, even though I love Germans. I'll deal with it. I'll figure it out. Hadanasani Tomahawk Warrior no longer considered a gunpowder trooper. Okay, so maybe that has an effect on certain upgrades. Town Destroyer improves War Chief siege damage now by 1,000%, down from 1,400. There were definitely some cheese tactics with that in 1v1s, but even more so in team games. So still really high, but I think that's a good change. I don't think you need to have that card like that. That's super strong. So Inca Autarky H4 card Concha House Wood Trickle improved. Okay. Chimu Runner train time reverted to 27 from 30 seconds. Okay, so that's a little buff. Haraka added 10% siege resistance. Okay, so they were to try to I believe those are anti-siege, right? So that helps out. They don't get annihilated by organs. I guess that's probably target at organs mostly because Falc's probably just one shot one of them, maybe a little bit of splash, but Jungle Bowman poison effect now inflicts 25% more damage against heavy cav and hand shock infantry, previously reduced by 50%. Okay. All right, so I guess they're kind of reverting a little bit on the change, but yeah, I guess if they struggle quite a bit against cav, that helps them out a little bit. And it is a card that you need to send to get the poison effect. Stronghold fixed the incorrect displayed number of projectiles to 8 from 6. Base damage reduced to 8 from 10. So fix the incorrect displayed number of projectiles. So is that just display? And it was actually doing 8, and then they reduced the base damage? I think that's probably... Yeah, they're just... Basically, I think it's nerfed slightly. Supe Ceremony now spawns Macemen at the same rate as Takola Soldiers or Skull Knights. Okay. That's cool. I mean, those units are really nice, really fun to have, so I'm sure people will appreciate that. If they play late game Inca, they'll get more of their special units, so that's cool. Indians, Battlefield Construction. H2 fixed a bug that prevented the Mansavar Sepoy from constructing Indian buildings. Okay, that's a card I don't ever use. Land Reforms H2 now also affects the construction speed of mango groves. Okay, wow, that's like so irrelevant. I can't even believe this is a note. I can't even believe mango groves are those freaking, and they build super fast. That's so. Oh my god. Okay, cool. Rocketeers H4 now also adds a 1.25 damage multiplier against all infantry units to all arsonist attacks. 1.25 damage multiplier against all infantry units to all arsonist attacks. Okay, so for arsonist, does anybody really use arsonist though? Siege elephant range resistance increased by 5%. Pretty irrelevant, I would say. The Raj fixed a bug with the Hindu villager costs increasing by +5 instead of 5 food when the foreign trading company's card was sent. Okay. Overall, I think this is like 0 effect for me and how I play India or against India. Okay, so I mean, there's like a lot of most of the changes so far are, I feel like, for, well, it's good. Like if people like to play the game a different way and just like relax and like do some interesting, fun things, send some unique cards, that's cool. And I hope these changes are making you guys excited or at least happy or just giving you different ideas of how you can play. It doesn't always have to be competitive stuff. So if these are what people were asking for or hoping for, or if this fits your definition of good change, then good for you guys. Just let me know, because honestly, most of these changes are not going to affect me so far. Like very, very little. So, well, we'll have to see what else we got. Let's move on to Italians. 3 spies from the Valiska. Now it takes 25 seconds to arrive instead of 30. 3 priests, same thing. 7 papal guards. Now take 50 seconds to arrive, down from 60. 7 Schiavoni, take 55 seconds to arrive, down from 60. So all Balisca buffs slightly. Papal Arsenal card moved to H3 from H4. Ooh, let's take a Papal Arsenal. Let's see. Do we have an autofill? We'll have to we'll have to figure that out another time. But sounds interesting moving an H4 card to H3. Papal Guard hit points increased by 20. The charged hook attack now inflicts damage in an area of 1. Wow. Okay, so there's some serious buffs for these guys here. The guard upgrade costs for halbs, pikes, pavseers are now set to 250 or 200 wood, 200 coin instead of 600 wood for a guard. Okay, so that does that look? Oh, that must be the age up politician reducing the cost. Okay, so that's a buff again, and another one for melee infantry. Usury improves the conversion ratio of wood and food into coin to 30% from 20. Okay, so those are some buffs for Italy for sure. Not huge ones, but I mean the hit points, that's pretty significant. And then everything combining with that in this area of effect damage, this could be a different way to play the Italians. That could be impactful to supremacy 1v1 on the ladder. Japan, 47 Ronin, Masterless Samurai speed increased to 6 from 5.5. Okay. That has potential for some fun, for sure. Ninjutsu Zukai added the 5 times damage multiplier against native warriors for consistency with the regular ninja. Okay. Samurai siege damage reduced to 60 from 67. Okay, I mean, it was a little crazy. It was a little crazy, you gotta say. So that's probably... I mean, not that they're used a lot, and some fun games. I've seen some of the guys in Discord recently talking about using Samurai, and yeah, it's just crazy amount of siege. Let's see, what is this? Team Mortars, Samurai Mortar attack range reduced to 7 from 12. No longer adds the incendiary grenades technology to the Golden Pavilion. Okay, so late game Japan changes. Lakota, 13 Bison in H4, Infinite reduced to 11. New 18 Bison H4 card added, a one-time card, not infinite. Bow Rider, range damage reduced to 18 from 20. Damage multiplier against heavy cavalry increased to 2.5 times from 2.25. Other multipliers remain unchanged. So that is a significant change for 1v1 supremacy. That is definitely another 2, and that's yeah, what, 10%? 10% damage reduction? Pretty significant. And when you add in the fact that they are an H2 unit, and all their upgrades and cards will be less of a boost because of a lower base damage, so that's pretty significant. Seaton Bowman, damage multiplier against heavy infantry reduced to 1.5 times 2 from being times 2. That is, again, pretty significant change. Musketeers are going to do a lot better against them. Lakota Warchief can no longer slow down enemy units with melee attacks. Oh my god. And all the French native scouts rejoice. I mean, how many times I've played so many games where I'm playing French against Lakota, and my scout gets snared in the first 30 seconds, and then he's just dead. There's no way you can get out of it. So, I mean, you can try some pull tricks and get lucky maybe sometimes, but that I like that. Yeah, that's good, because other explorers too. I mean, yeah, it's just, you can never get away from him. It's still gonna be hard because he's still so fast, but I like that. And then there's a card now enables your war chief to slow down units again. Okay, so they added back in with I think that's just a war chief card. So if you want it so badly, you can get it back. So there's that. Those are significant Lakota changes for the supremacy crowd, for the 1v1, for the ladder guys. That should have some impact for sure. I personally didn't use bow riders too often, but that can definitely have a lot of impact. They're still going to be strong, still have the TP line stuff on certain maps, but definitely nerfed. Maltese fixed gun population cost reduced from 6 to 5. Grandmaster now grants 70 XP when down. Oh, that's their Explorer. Up from 45. Can now construct commanderies instead of outposts. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. That can be useful for the early boom. Settler wagon, German tongue. Yeah, that's gonna help them out a little bit. Trip to Jerusalem resource cap reduced to 1,200 from 1,500. That is great change. A lot of people have been asking for that. That's when you lose units, you get resources refunded up to a certain amount. Here they reduced it by 300. I think that's really good. Wigton Court Constructions now also improves gather rates from Allied Cherry Orchard. Okay, sure. All right, some interesting changes for Maltese. On to Mexicans. 1 frigate, infinite H4 card. Fix a bug that turned this card into a team card. Okay. 3 outposts card added to the Central American Revolution. Okay. Advanced Frontier Defenses Central American Revolution card removed. If you're nerfing revolutions, I'm for it. Sounds like that was a bit of a nerf. Filibuster Baja California Revolution siege damage increased to 25 from 24. Okay, very minuscule, but maybe substantial collectively. General now grants 70 XP when down, up from 45, because he is stronger. Real Grand Revolution 4 culverins reduced to 3. 9 soldados reduced to 6. Okay. All right. What do we have? Yucatan Revolution removed the 0.8 negative damage multiplier of the charged lasso attacks against rifle riders and mounted granaderos. Okay, I think those are overall some minor nerfs to Mexico. I'll take that. I will take that. Especially the nerfs to the revolutions. Ottomans. Okay, big. This is where it's everybody wants to know what happened. What's gonna happen with Ottomans? 12 Janissaries in H4 increased to 14, so a little buff. Interesting. The H4 card, a little bit of buff. Wow. Okay. Kapakulu Corpse. H4 tech from Palace Intrigue. That's the unique mosque card. The melee armor increase now only applies to Spahi instead of all heavy cavalry. Okay. Not that they would make too many cavalry in H4, but okay. Very, very minor nerf. Makes me a little bit nervous that's the Spahi tech. I think you get 5 Spahi and that armor for like 2,500 base food, and then reduced to 1,250 with the Mosque Constructions card. And then Topku Corpse, also another basically big button. Cost increased to 2,000 coin from 1,700. Okay. But with Mosque Constructions, it's only an increase of 150 coin. So that's not quite as much as I would have hoped. Getting a little bit nervous here. Nizam Fusilier range and stance reduced to 18 from 20, so reduces the range a couple. Okay. Spahi cards, food cost of industrial age Spahi cards increased by plus 50 for each Spahi. Okay, I like that. Infinite 4 increased to 1k food from 800. 6 Spahi increased to 1,500 from 1,200. That's pretty significant. Okay. And Team rights cost increased to 1,500 food from 1,200. I don't know. Oh, maybe that's Spahi. Yeah, for Team Spahi. Okay. Team 3 Spahi maybe. Anyway, that's all the Ottoman changes. Oh boy, that's all the Ottoman changes. Wow. So the main strategy that needs to be nerfed, that everybody's asking to be nerfed, is the FI with Mosque Constructions and the unique Moscow Palace Intrigue. And there are some nerfs here. The melee armor one, I honestly, it still applies to Spahi, so that is essentially irrelevant to me. Like, what other heavy cavalry were you making in H4 or shipping? maybe a shipment of Hussar. Probably not. I mean, and then you have the 3 bombards in cost go from 1,700 coin to 2,000, but that's only 150 when you have Moss Constructions cards in. So a extremely minor nerf to that. And then the Fusilier the Fusilier card or like Big Button, their range is just reduced by a couple, which it's not even the issue. I'm a little bit frustrated by this because we really needed to hit Moss Constructions. We needed to hit that card that had to be nerfed, and it wasn't. It wasn't even touched, not even mentioned. Still reduces all the cost by 50% for those 3 big techs, and it's still worth like 3,000 resources for an H3 card. It still has insane value, and we basically did not. We even they have 2 extra Janissaries for an H4 shipment to go along with their regular crap. I gotta tell you, man. I mean, the Spahi and H4 cards were nerfed a bit, but it's not enough. I was gonna say it doesn't feel like it's enough, but I know it's not enough. It's not enough. We've been dealing with this strategy for an entire year almost. I'm pretty disappointed in this. I mean, okay, great. We got a few nerfs here, a few like minor, but this strategy is still going to be done. It's still going to be very, very strong, and it's just a little bit deflating to see this. I was really hoping for more. Moss Constructions needed to be hit. That was the number one thing that needed to be nerfed by Ottoman. You need to hit that card. That 50% reduction, make it 33% reduction, and that's significant. We need something significant here, and I think this is really a miss on the Ottoman nerf. And there's so many other aspects of this civ that people complain about, and especially new players, that it felt like this is hardly an impact on how they're going to be played. Yeah, pretty disappointed with that. But let's move on to Portuguese. Fiat Ores, their age 1 food trickle. It's only okay. The resource trickle card in age 1 for each TC, only the food trickle was reduced from 0.4 to 0.36. Extremely minor change, and not super impactful. I think it's the right direction, but not enough. I mean, I'm just still like stuck on the Ottoman changes, but I'm gonna try to get that out of my mind. Grape Shot, H4 card for organ guns, now improves the rate of fire by only 0.25 instead of 0.5. I think that's good. They were a little bit ridiculous, even though they were fun, but I think that they were just a little too crazy. Okay, Russians. We have 6 Cossack H3 card increased to 7 Cossack. That's pretty good card now. Yeah, 6 was a little bit questionable. 7 solid. Blockhouse Cannon H3 also sends a Falconet. So I believe that not 100% sure. I don't know if that was Blockhouse HP or sends a Blockhouse, but also sends a Falconet now. So they got like another 1 Falconet shipment. So that's kind of cool. Might have some use. Detonets H3 Blockhouse hit point improvement reduced to plus 20% from plus 25, but now also activates Frontier Blockhouses. So a defensive play card. That could be annoying in 1v1 potentially. Porichik. This is a Halb-like unit for Russia. Change the cost ratio to 210 food, 150 coin instead of 150 food to 10 coin. Okay, so that's a significant buff for those units. I don't think they're used very often, and that'll definitely help them. Not strength-wise, but at least getting more of them out. Russian American Company H3 card added. No longer activates Frontier Blockhouses. Gather rate for huntables reduced to 20% from 30%. So this is a brand new card. This is the USA card, and this is really nice for Russia. I mean, no, it no longer activates Frontier Blockhouses, so it doesn't give that upgrade for free. But I mean, gets 2 blockhouses and the hunting gather rate up 20%. So that could be really interesting. I wonder if Russia, maybe they'll start going for like an FF. That's interesting. I it seems like a buff to add that card. I think people will use it. So that's, Russia needs some love. I think people mostly agree. So I think that's cool. I think that's a nice card to add. Team Patriarchy H2 now reduces Inquisitor training time and coin cost only by 15% instead of 50. Okay, That's the team game card that everybody was asking about for a change, and I think that is significant. 15% cost and train time reduction instead of 50. So hopefully that helps you team players out there. Let me know what you guys think. And the new Treaty of Mazhaisk H2 350 food delivers 4 royal huntsmen and allows you to train additional royal huntsmen from the royal embassy. Okay, so those are like villagers, right? I have to refresh myself a little bit, but I believe they can gather natural resources, especially hunt faster. So that could be an interesting potential age 2 boom for them. Okay, that should be might affect. There's some decent changes here for Russia that might affect not just their strength, but how they're played. So that'll be interesting to see. Man, I'm noticing I'm going. It's taking me a while to go through this. So I'm gonna try to speed up a little bit, but not rush it. Spanish, marvelous year gather rate improvements reduced to plus 15%, down from 20%. Okay, no change other than that for Spanish, which is a top civ. So that's kind of interesting. They weren't touched much at all. And that card, 5% reduction. Don't think it's super impactful. So interesting, little change. Swedes, Dalkarl Pikeman in H4 cost reduced. Cost reduction changed to 40 wood, 20 food from 25 wood, 25 food. So they are more expensive now. They cost 15 more wood, 5 less food. I think those guys were a bit annoying. I had, I think Baron in Discord was complaining a little bit about them. I don't know too much about them, so I can't really say. Hackapellet, no longer classified as hand cavalry. So just light cavalry then. Hit points reduced to 246 from 252, so 6 HP reduction, and melee damage to 24 from 26, so another melee damage reduction for another cavalry unit. And it looks like they're basically going to be dragoons now, and maybe they don't get countered by. Yeah, I don't think they were getting countered by goons anyway with the most recent changes prior to this. So okay, a little bit interesting change there. They were a bit crazy if you got a lot of them and hard to take out in certain situations. So interesting change there. Even though Swedes are not generally looked at as a strong civ. Hand infantry, hand cavalry attack card removed. Oh wow, okay. New cavalry damage H2 card added, improves all cavalry damage by 15%. All right, so Hackas. Well, I think these two cards cancel out for Hackas, right? Have to see about that. Finn Horses H4 now increases Hussar and Hackapellet's hit points by 20%, up from 15. Note this also applies to Finnish Revolution card that affects Dragoons, Cossacks, Operniks, and Cav Archers too. Okay, so a little buff there. March of the Hackapellets H2 speed improvement reduced to 0.1, down from 0.15. Okay. So that's a slight nerf. Okay, so I mean mostly Swedes are nerfed, which is kind of unexpected. Didn't really expect them to get buffed all that much, but kind of unexpected to see them get nerfed like that, and primarily Haka. So I guess maybe I don't know if you guys lower level. Not saying you guys are lower level, but like lower level or like treaty or like people that play more for fun didn't like Hackapellas. You guys could let me know on that. I didn't really see a huge need for changes to them. Okay, and here we go. This is the main course right here. This is the main attraction. This is what everybody wants. I think the most. I did a poll on YouTube, and the biggest percentage of votes for what people want to change was United States nerfs. So I think it was 40%. So here we go. Let's see what we have. Buffalo Soldiers H3 now also increases carbine cav range by +1. Wow. Okay. So they. Oh, but wait. Carbine cavalry range in H3 reduced to 13 from 14. Okay, so then in general they have less range, but now if you send that card, they get that range back to how they are currently. So Buffalo Soldiers, I don't think is a good card. I use it a little bit, and it reduces the cost of Hussar, I believe, and gives veteran status. You need to make like 30. I mean, in certain situations, I guess it can be a good card, but you need to make like 30 Huss before that actually has regular H3 card value. Moving on, General now grants 70 XP when downed, up from 45. Cool. Kentucky Hunters H3 card now sends 4 Owl Hoots down from 5. Pennsylvania Cavalry H2 Philadelphia Convention. This is from the church. Corrected costs from 625 food to 625 coin. And that right there, guys, that's one of the biggest nerfs for sure. The Carbine Cav having less range is big too, but this coin cost instead of food is huge. And I think that it sounds like it applies to both the infantry, the sharpshooters, and the Carbine Cav. And that is huge. It's huge. I love that. I think everybody's really going to be happy about that. That's a big one. Onto Russian American Company. We saw this with Russia. No longer activates Frontier Blockhouses. Gather rate for huntables reduced to 20% from 30. Again, another nerf, and it's pretty significant. It's not huge. You do get the blockhouses, but they're not upgraded now. And the gather rate, some people want it removed completely, but that wouldn't be. I don't think that would make it a useful card. It is reduced by 10% from 30 to 20. That's another good nerf. People always sent that card, and so this should have a nice little impact too. Scottish Immigrants H2 fix an issue regarding capturable trade posts not being considered by this card. Okay. Oh, I get what that's saying. Kind of irrelevant, I think. State capital XP reward reduced to 200, down from 300. A 100 XP nerf. That is big as well. Definitely contributes to your next shipment quite a bit. So that's I like that too. I mean, having a building that just gives you 300 XP right back from a shipment, that's insane. So it's still a lot of XP, 200. And I wonder if that is going to affect the bounty on it, because usually those go hand in hand, but we'll have to see. I like that nerf for sure. Virginia plan H2. Virginia now takes 50 seconds to arrive, up from 40. Not exactly sure what that one was for. I was going to say if that's for villager cost. I'm not really sure, but I don't think that's usually age up with Pennsylvania anyway. The Philadelphia Convention card, the church card. So I don't think that's super impactful, but there's some solid nerfs to the United States right there. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with that. People wanted them nerfed to the ground because it's been so long, but I think these are good nerfs. I think they're still a decent civ, but reducing the range of Carbine Cav for at least until that card's sent, and changing the cost for the church text, huge, as well as nerfing Russian American Company Blockhouse, because they had so much more HP and attack with the Frontier Blockhouse upgrade, and then the gather rate reduction. I like that, and the capital XP reduction. I really like those changes for the United States. That I think is the best that the devs did so far throughout this patch, is nerfing the United States correctly, not like over nerfing them, but some very significant nerfs in a couple different areas. I think that's a good job by them for that. And that's all the civs, but let's move on to revolutions. Revolting now takes 15 seconds to complete, up from 10. Okay, 5 seconds. That's 50% increase, but still it's just 5 seconds. All revolutionaries and derivatives have their speed reduced to 4.5, down from 5. I love that. They always were ridiculously fast for seemingly no reason, so I like that a lot. Ottoman Expedition Army Barbary States Indonesia cost reduced to 1,500 coin from 1,600, so 100 coin reduction. That's pretty irrelevant, I think. Not that I even use that or see it all that often. I think I don't think Barbary States is used all that often. So okay, I like the nerfs there for revolutions, very much so. I'm very much a fan of that. Argentina mounted Granadero cost change, 130 food, 50 coin, up from 150 food. I like that. Range resistance reduced. Beautiful. I think people were complaining about these guys for quite a while. Range attack now only deals 50% damage against light cavalry and 25% damage against artillery and villagers. Okay, that's if that used to be 100 to light cav, that's huge. That could be a huge nerf. I don't know what that starting point is. They didn't mention it here, but that could be huge. Area of attack radius decreased to 2, down from 2.5. And Granaderos, this card no longer enables counts. Those are significant nerfs. I like that. I'm sorry, guys. I know a lot of you like revolutions. It adds different things to the game, and makes it a little bit, not so stale when you have different things you can do that are unique and new. But I'm I do not like competitively. I don't like revolts. I don't think they really fit the game in terms of like how I like an RTS game to play it, how I think it should be played. I think the it's just clicking a button and like having a complete different type of unit or different situation where like a bunch of units pop up. I'm just not a huge fan of. So I like these revolts getting there. So hopefully it continues down the line. Barbary States 16, Barbary Warriors Infinite increase to 18. That's a buff. Barbary Combat now increases Barbary Warrior hit points and damage by 20%, up from 15. Okay, another buff. So they want you to they're maybe like getting you to flex out into different revolts now. It looks like potentially. Barbary Warrior siege damage increased to 16 from 13. Cost decreased to 90 from 100. So okay, there's your buff right back. Barbary States is a little bit more in favor potentially for revolts. Brazil Voluntário da Pataria. Movement speed increased by 0.25. Okay, sure. I'm not sure if that's just a unit or if that's all units. I am not a revolt guy. Chile Revolution now delivers 6 SR of death, down from 8. Fishing fleet corrected the amount of dock wagons to 2 from 2 to 1. Okay, I like that. Hussar death were crazy. Again, beautiful to nerf the revolt. Just a couple Hussar, which is pretty significant. So I like that. Finland blackberries can now be sent infinitely as intended. Turku Academy fixed a glitch that resulted in explorer abilities being pushed outside the UI through the okay. So just UI change. Hungary 6 Grenadiers Infinite now sends Hungarian Grenadiers instead of the generic ones. Magyar Hussar fixed an issue where the unit did not have increased hit points and damage across all Hungarian revolutions. Cossack, this Russian unit is no longer upgraded to guard status. Okay. Delhi, this Ottoman unit is no longer upgraded to guard status. Corvat's Legion now sends 9 improved Magyar Hussars down from 15 and no longer improves her. That seems like a huge change to that card. Sends 9 improved Magyar Hussars down from 15 and no longer improves their hit points. Okay. Magyar Hussars, this spawn card now costs 500 coin to send. Okay. Seems like overall a bit of a nerf. Haiti Maroon movement speed increased to 5 from 4.5. Okay, you guys can let me know on that one. Indonesia 16 Javanese spearmen increased to 20. Pepper exports now re-enable settlers and merchants costing food instead of citizens costing coin. Dutch merchants that cost food are now called Batavian merchants. Sumatran elephants infinite fixed a bug that resulted in increasing the war elephants population cost by +1 every time the card was sent. And a new card, 250 food, converts all Javanese spearmen into revolutionaries. Okay, seems like a minor buff to this. Yeah, I don't know. Romania, Wallachian horse archers reduce the cavalry archer hit points penalty to -25% from -33. A little bit buff. South Africa factory card removed. Okay. Oh yes, this is the one that. Oh my God, Lionheart killed me with this revolt one time. 4 War Wagons card added. This card sends Guard War Wagons. Wagon Warfare now enables Guard War Wagons instead of Imperial War Wagons in stables, but allows researching the latter. Okay. Imperial War Wagons are ridiculous. They're absolutely insane. So I'm glad it's a little bit of nerf. They're still available, but you got to pay the cost. But that's a good change. Those units are too crazy. But you can still make them now. You just need to upgrade them manually. United States Continental Army now improves state militia instead of Prussian Uhlans. Okay. Oh, that's a revolution. Okay. And that looks like it's it. Wow. Okay, so we made it. It took quite a while. I apologize if this was a little bit long for you guys, but I wanted to read everything and kind of get the full digest everything bit by bit. And I think the main changes, the highlights here, for me personally, I mean, like I said, I think a lot of these changes are for maybe treaty or late game or more casual play, which that's always good to get to, help out those people if they're voicing their opinions and we need everybody to play the game that enjoys the game, and competitive play is kind of a small aspect of it. So I'm glad that everybody's getting their voices heard, which it seems like here. Especially the team game. The team game changes. The Inquisitor, I think, will be significant. I think that'll help out team game team game players and the whole culture there. So that is good. I think an Aztec, the slinger cost is significant. That's a big one. Another significant change for me is the Ulan damage down 2 attack damage, -2. I think that's pretty significant. I think I think that will show in games. And Town Destroyer, that's a team change, I believe, mostly. That's good. The Chimu Runner and Coyote Runner obstruction radius, I believe is the term. That change should be pretty significant as well. So interested to see how that plays out. What else? Italian's slight buff. Lakota, Bow Rider, significant nerf. Seaton, a little bit of nerf as well. And the War Chief. Those are all pretty sizable nerfs that can combine to have a decent impact. Maltese, a little bit better, not too much. I like this cost reduction, or this cap reduction. Ottoman, very, very minor changes. I'm pretty disappointed in that. That's the biggest disappointment in this patch by a long shot. Really a bit of a downer, but it's in the right direction. It's just not nearly enough. So we'll get there. I do believe we'll get there. I think hopefully we have another patch not too far off in the distance, not another 267 days away. But it's in the right direction, which is a positive thing. And I want to be positive. I don't want to be negative. So I'm going to say we're on the right track. We're on the right track. Portuguese, slight nerf. Russian, a buff, which I think a lot of people have been asking for. So, and in mid-game buff too, not the early game, which I think is the correct thing to do because their rushes can be quite strong. So I think they took the correct approach on that. What else do I see as significant? The United States, and this is perfect to finish off on. The changes here are the right direction. They're the right amount, and I think this is exactly what people wanted. So I think this is what people were asking for the most too. So I think they got this one right. I just wish they got the Ottoman one as much as they did on the United States, because this is the way to do it. This is correct. The correct cards, the correct amounts. I really like these changes. So I applaud that for sure. And then some minor revolution changes, nerfs mostly, which I applaud as well. So that pretty much covers it all. I hope you guys enjoyed going over the patch notes with me. I hope I wasn't rambling too much. I wanted to get all my thoughts across on the changes and how they're going to impact gameplay. And so it turns out it's a decent amount of changes. And I think overall, I would rate this patch out of 10. I would say I would give it a 7. A 7. It's a solid patch. It's in the right direction generally. The amount of the changes for the most part are good. The Ottoman is just the big miss for me. If Ottoman was nerfed, if that Mosque Construction card was nerfed like 15%, 10% even, I would have given this over an 8, maybe even a 9, because they hit a lot of the points that people were complaining about. I think in the next patch, the thing that we're already looking forward to potentially is maybe trade post costs or XP amount, and then of course maybe another Ottoman nerf, hopefully, and maybe we'll see other civs that come out of this on top, and we need to address that. I mean, it's always changing, right? So as people discover different strategies and different main civs to play, things that come out, and we'll notice them. So it's always work in progress. So I applaud the effort. I just really hope we don't have to wait too long for the next one, and I'm excited. I can't wait to get playing. I hope you guys are already on the game, playing, queuing up, whatever, and just listening to me as you're getting into the game. So I can't wait to see you guys in there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.